Hey guys, and welcome back. So today we are going to be ranking the Final Fantasy VII waifus, and if you want to do this, then I'll leave a link in the description to the tier maker, and feel free to let me know which female is your favourite waifu from the Final Fantasy VII series down below. So before I continue and I start ranking these females, I'm very, very sorry if I upset you with any of my comments. I didn't mean to. This is just for fun, and please don't take it personally. So let's start off with Jessie. I know that Jessie is an Avalanche member, and when I first started playing Final Fantasy VII, I really hoped that she would be a playable character, and I was severely disappointed that she wasn't. She is strong, she's level-headed, she's determined, she thinks about her group members, not just herself, and she is pretty much a badass. I was hoping with the remake that they would make her how I imagined her, which would be slightly more cute and rather less sexy, because her whole demeanour was sort of kick-ass, and I was hoping that her face would be the opposite, sort of like cute and adorable but with a kick-ass personality, but they went and made her sexy, and I do still really like the design. It just wasn't what I was expecting. But either way, disregarding either ones of those, I still want to rank her an S rank because she is a very, very good character and she is perfect waifu material. I love her. Then we have Eleanor. Or Elena. It depends on how you guys want to pronounce it. I grew up playing the original game and there was no voice actors on there. I just had to read it, and I pronounced Reno as well. I pronounced Reno as Reno for years, and I still refer to him as Reno because that's how I learned to that's how I learned his name growing up. So I'm really sorry. I'll probably pronounce half of these wrong. But Eleanor is part of the Turks, and she's similar to Jessie, but not quite the same. She's more laid back, calm, she's very, very level-headed. She is very friendly to her comrades, and she's a lot more lenient in the Turks than a lot of the other members are, so I feel like the focus is more on Reno and Rude when we see cutscenes of all three of them together, and she's sort of a background character rather than just a background character, and I don't like that. I feel like we need to get to know her more. But because we don't really know a massive amount about her unless you go and ask a lot of NPCs and figure out her story, then you can't really get a good judge of her character. And for that reason, I'm going to give her a C rank because I feel like we haven't fully explored her depths. I don't know if that made any sense, but that's how I feel about her, and I'm sorry. Next we have Yuffie, and she is very young, she's naive, she's a thief, and I really don't like that. And I understand that in the Final Fantasy series you get the job classes and they are thieves or paladins or warriors or white mages, but I feel like it wasn't a very good way to introduce her to steal from her own party members. And I don't want to give too many spoilers, but this isn't really a big spoiler, so we do get the materia back, but it's completely muddled up, and I hate that. Do you know how long it takes to get the materia in the correct areas? It's just infuriating. And I'm going to give an example, like if you put all and fire together, it'll cast fire on all the mobs, but if you put an all and an all material together, it doesn't do anything, and you have to have the materia right for really good combos and everything. And she just comes in, she steals your materia, which you get annoyed at, but she gives them back, you think, oh right, okay, I don't have to play around with them and recreate the perfect sort of groups. But no, you do, because she completely muddles them up when she gives them back, and it's just the most infuriating thing that I've ever dealt with in Final Fantasy VII. But other than that, I'm going to go off her personality, and she can be very cocky and selfish, but when it comes to her friends, yes, she is quite kind and she will help out when asked. But for me, she is not great waifu material, so I'm going to put her next to Eleanor or Eleanor, because she is not waifu material. Next we have Aries, and when I first started the game, I really, really did not like Aries. I thought that she was too girly, she wouldn't be able to, well, fight. And I was semi-right, she's more of a healer than a fighter, but this comes as a massive, massive help to the party. But the impression I got of her is that she'd be like, oh no, I can't do that, please help me. But she's not. She is very determined. She is quite strong. Not physically, but mentally she is very strong. She is a very optimistic character, and she has so many good qualities that they completely outweigh the negative qualities. I would love to give her an S rank, but there's one thing in the game that drops her down a level and for me, and that would be the last part of her story arc, when I feel like she just needs to ask her friends to help her. She goes off, she does her own thing, and that is the end of her story. Whereas she could have asked her friends to help her out, and I feel like she could have made it all the way with everybody else's arcs, and she could have been something more and more. I don't want to give spoilers, but I feel like she could have just been that character that sticks with it to the end and becomes like an idol for everybody else to look upon and just admire. But she does her own thing, and she doesn't really ask for help very often. And I know that that's one semi-negative quality about her that I don't like, and that's the only reason I'm going to give her an A rank. And if anybody knows why she did that, I'm assuming it's to help protect her friends. But if there's another reason why she went it alone, let me know in the comments. But just put a little spoiler caption in front, just in case people haven't played the game, because I know remake's coming out, and there's going to be a lot of new blood playing Final Fantasy VII. Next we have Genova, and I know that some of you love Genova, but holy hell, in the Final Fantasy VII Remake trailer, she is terrifying. She's actually terrifying in the original game with all the blood everywhere, and I love her character design, but as a waifu she terrifies me. We don't really see her, we get to know about her and see her through the eyes of everybody else. So you don't ever get to speak in depth with her. She speaks at you near the end, but it's not quite the same as the other characters where you get to know a bit about their personality. I feel like her personality is just, no, I've had enough of this world, and that is her personality. So I would have loved to see more about before she became what she became. So I'm gonna rate her a D, just because she's not my sort of waifu. Next we have Tifa, and I love Tifa. She is my favourite character of all time in pretty much all the video games. Any video game, she's my favourite. When I was younger, I used to be very, very introverted. I never used to speak to anybody. I would bottle up my emotions. I still semi-bottle them up now, but I'm a lot more free and open with them. I tend to wear my heart on my sleeve more, but Tifa was a role model when I was growing up. She was the one I'd look to and I'd want to be like. I thought that I could carry the weight of the world on my shoulders, and it's not good for you, but it helped me by having that role model to look up to, because I didn't really have anybody like that in my life at the time, and for that, like, I owe her my life, really. And I know that's really sad that I owe a video game character my life, but it's true. So I need to give her an S rank, and I can't give her any lower than that. Even if she was to be like, nope, I'm gonna kill all you guys, I would still give her an S rank, because the things that she taught me in Final Fantasy VII has stayed with me for life. The only thing I'd say about her, though, is that I wish that she'd had opened up near the end of the game to Cloud, but she just doesn't. But I feel like Cloud isn't deserving of her time. I feel like she is better than Cloud, and even though she's in love with Cloud, I feel like Cloud doesn't deserve her. So I am happy how that ended, and she is still having an S rank from me. Next we have Shiva, and Shiva is beautiful. Like, wow, in the remake trailer she is stunning. I fell in love with the character design. I'm just a bit sad that we don't know anything of her background story, but then we don't with any of the summons either, so I'm happy with that. But as a waifu, I can't really give her like an S, A or B rank because we don't really know her, so I'm gonna give her a D rank just for the reasoning that we don't know anything about her. Yes, she's beautiful, but we haven't got a clue about any of her personality. I just know that she'll come and help out anytime as long as you've got MP. Next we have Lucretia, and I don't really know where I stand with Lucretia. She is the reason that Vincent's in the crypt, and we get to know a lot of her backstory in Crisis Core, and I'm quite annoyed that they didn't put her story, like her full story, in Final Fantasy VII. I feel like she and Ares look very similar in the face, but because they're both very, very beautiful women, but I feel like she is not waifu material because she is somewhat selfish in some aspects of her life. In other aspects, she's very, very open, carefree, and she doesn't mind who knows what about her, but in the parts where Hojo's involved, she's very shut off, and I don't quite like that about her, so I've given her a B. And lastly we have Scarlett, and I know a lot of you love Scarlett, and she is beautiful, she's sexy, her body is like amazing. I hope they keep the scene in between her and Tifa. I'm not going to spoil it, but she would be the perfect waifu if you like people who are harsh and bitchy and very demanding, but I don't, so she's not my waifu, but she's definitely somebody's waifu because her whole attitude is just... Her whole attitude is... I have no words, it's very fierce. That's the only thing I can say is fierce. She's like the opposite of Jessie. So I am going to give her a C rank because I can, even though I don't hate her, I dislike her, but I can respect her. I don't know if that made any sense whatsoever. But that is my ranking, and I hope I haven't offended anybody. I know that Ares is a lot of people's favourite characters, but I would put her as an S rank apart from at the last part of the game, and I'd really like some answers for that, and I hope that they slightly change it in 7 Remake to sort of make it more clear why she did it, and went off on her own instead of asking her friends to help. So that's pretty much it. Although there is one more waifu that I have not mentioned and I've been keeping off this list, and that is Cloud, and I have to automatically give him an S rank, even though he's not my favourite character. I don't very much like his character. I think it was very noble of what he did. He put a dress on to go save one of his friends, so Cloud in a dress, not Cloud, but Cloud in a dress, deserves an S rank from me. So that is pretty much it for me, and thanks for watching. Bye guys!